Yo, what up guys, welcome back to Sneaker Stories. As always, I'm your host Chris Jack. Today we're checking out a pretty awesome pair of shoes that dropped just on the 23rd of November. Recently at Shelf Life, it's none other than the Air Force One collaboration with Korean superstar G-Dragon, Peaceminusone and Nike. Let's check them out. Alright, so gotta admit, was on the fence about maybe even trying to go for these shoes. They were quite a difficult cop, as mentioned, released at Shelf Life 23rd of November for the price point of 3,299 Rand. The reason I was a bit on the fence about this shoe is I'm not really too big into Air Force Ones, as the silhouette is just not my favorite in terms of what I wear, but I definitely do still appreciate the shoe itself. This one, having them in hand, wow. I gotta admit, it's a pretty cool shoe. But before we get into the shoe itself, let's talk about G-Dragon. Who's G-Dragon? I honestly did not know until this shoe came out. And that's probably just because I'm old and out of touch, or I'm just not into K-pop. So G-Dragon was kind of the leader in this massive K-pop group out of Korea called Big Bang, and he's kind of broken away to do his own sort of solo thing as far as I can tell, and he's got a fashion label called Peaceminusone, which is represented on this particular pair as well. But all those details we'll get into in a bit. The shoe itself, to the naked eye, is quite a basic colorway of white and black with a couple of cool little details throughout. But there's so much actually hidden on this particular pair in terms of its design story, influences, and just general details around the pair. And to get into that, I'm going to start the story off with G-Dragon creating a custom artwork which is represented and hidden on this particular pair. It's kind of created in his little art studio that he has, and that's why you can see these brush paint strokes here done in black on the midsole, which then wrap onto the outsole of the shoe as well. So it kind of just gives it that worn sort of artist feel to it, but the real joy and magic comes into the upper of the shoe with this entire black piece that's been lightly painted over the top of that artwork I spoke about just earlier. And speaking about that artwork, you do get teased with a little bit of it over here on the sides of this collaboration box, but we'll get into that later. And that basically is just under the top layer of the shoe. And the paint layer on top here is really thin. You can actually see it cracking off just in the eye stay sections over here, and that's just how they come out of the box. I've seen guys wear the shoe very short periods of time and it's already starting to peel off by itself. So it's a really awesome shoe that it's going to give you a whole different look with extended wear on this particular pair. The swoosh included on the shoe is done in a solid white, and that does not change color over time. That's just one straight up piece of leather. However, there are two other models of this particular shoe. There was a Korea exclusive which looks like that, which came with a red swoosh, and then there was a Friends and Family limited to 88 pairs which look like that, done in a yellow swoosh. There are a couple of other details which we'll get to as we get through this particular pair that change up for both of those releases, which make them completely unique. However, we'll stick with this one, and moving up into the laces of the shoes, these are slightly different over here. In some of the early pairs that were sent to seeded people and G-Dragon's photos, etc., they basically inverted the laces. So you will have that bow which kind of looks like that at the bottom of the lacing section, so it's kind of just flipped upside down. That, I don't know, I don't feel that at all, so I'll just be going with a straight up normal lacing on this. But there are a really thick lace as well, and included with that you do also get a set of black laces over here. The detailing on the eyelets do include the Peaceminusone logo, which is over here on the tongue section of the shoe, and then they also give you these eye stays which you can basically just plug in at the uppermost eye stay points, which have both the Peaceminusone logos, the daisy and then the peace sign as well, which has been adapted. So talking about that logo over here, this is a really awesome piece of embroidery. It's obviously a daisy, and one thing that's really noticeable in that Peaceminusone logo is the absence of one of the petals from that, and that is in the 8 o'clock position. Now that actually has a deeper meaning to it. With G-Dragon's kind of outset and I guess idea for this utopian world, a world without destruction, you're always kind of you're always one piece of evil away from true peace, and that's what that represents over there. And that's actually in the 8 o'clock position on this particular pair, which apparently is really significant to G-Dragon. I think he's born on the 18th of the 8th, 1988. So yeah, that's kind of brought through here. And flipping into the shoe, the sockliner here is done in a white mesh, but you do also have the Peaceminus logo, which is emblazoned on the inside of that. And then the insoles of both the shoes are actually pretty cool. They've also got that artwork on them, which you can see that's printed over the top. Then just to show you some other details on the shoe, the hang tag that comes with the shoe is really inspired by a backstage or access pass, and this one's just got the Peaceminusone logo. You've got the artist name G-Dragon in the title, AF1 Paranoise. Now the friends and family pair, which was limited to just 88 pairs, signifying the birth year of G-Dragon as well, that one had staff written on it on a yellow tag. And then the Korea exclusive, the red pair, had artist. And just to quickly show you the heel section of the shoe, you've just got the standard Nike Air logo, which has been embroidered into that heel leather. And then also the paint stroke, which basically continues that strip all the way down to the bottom of the shoe. And then just sliding open the box, this was a really cool touch point over here. You do have the Nike branding done on the wax paper of the shoe, except they've switched out the Just Do It for the Korean version of that, which I cannot pronounce. And they've also included the little Peaceminusone logo done over there, instead of the registered or trademark logo that you would usually see. Now, overall speaking, I do think this is actually quite an awesome pair. I'm actually kind of sad that I didn't get it. This one was hooked up to us from Cape Kicks. So if you do want to get a pair of these, they will have some for sale on the website, which I'll just link over here. Otherwise, if you don't come right there are obviously also other resellers around the world, depending on where you're watching, the StockX's and the court orders, etc. like that. So make sure to hit them up as well if you want to get a pair of these. I think the resale value of this particular pair in South Africa at least is around 5,500 to 6,000 Rand, depending on size, and on StockX and places like that, around $450 depending on size. And speaking about sizing, I've always taken a half size down, sometimes even a full size down in Air Force One. On this particular pair, I would reckon comfortably a half size down would be perfect for you. Otherwise, as always, if you are unsure of what size to get and you do not own any Air Force Ones yourself, you can always try on a general release pair in store and just kind of get your size from there. Once again, just a quick shout out to Cape Kicks for hooking us up with this particular pair. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. If you do have any further questions on this particular pair, please drop them in the comments below. And for those of you who haven't got around to subscribing yet, please do me the favor and hit that button right there now to see more reviews like this and a whole bunch of other exciting content coming still before the end of the year right here on Sneaker Stories. But that's it from me. I'll catch you on the next one.